Hi folks, I want to make two more changes to my Fusion 360 post processor. Number one, I want to be able to post with 0 RPMs so that we can use the diamond drag tool, which should not rotate. And I want to change the warning if we accidentally post at a higher RPM than the machine is able to do. Let's walk through how we do that. Welcome to the Fusion Friday. First thing we're going to do, show data panel, scroll down to your library's assets, open up CAM posts, and I'm going to expand this Tormach post and click Open Details on Web. That is the easiest way to download it. Click Download, save, and click into 0 RPM post. Right click, Edit with Notepad++. So let's search for RPM. I want to figure out where the tool is called and what those criteria are around that. So RPM format, no. Okay, hold on. Yep, here we go. This looks good. Tool call, that sounds right. RPM format, that sounds right. And sure enough, we're actually getting some really specific stuff about the spindle RPM range. And then here's what's funny, and I just realized this when I was practicing for this video, which is I just downloaded last week the newest version of the Tormach post from cam.autodesk/posts, and you can see it was updated just 8 days ago. So this is really good and really frustrating. Really good because I give Autodesk and Tormach a lot of credit. They've done a really good job of continuing to iterate and update that post. What's frustrating is sometimes you don't even realize it. So I set out to make this video thinking that we still had this inability to post with 0 RPMs. We can now do it. Look at this. If tool.spindle RPM is 0, then write format M5, which is spindle off, and add a comment that spindle is off. So you could say this is already done, but we're going to do this a different way. So I've got my tool 90, that's my diamond engraver. Edit that tool. What I don't like is you could accidentally change the spindle speed, either here or in a few different places. So let's look at a different way, which I think is a little bit more deliberate, which is under the Post Processor tab. There's this box called Live Tool. Now the pop-up mentions that it's for lathe, but that's not really true. What that's saying is it a live tool? Live tool means it's rotating, which is actually exactly what we want here. So normally that's checked for things like end mills and drills, and it would be unchecked for something like a traditional lathe turning tool. So by unchecking it here, I think we've done a better job of creating a permanent, unlikely to be modified instance of saying, hey, this tool should not have any rotation when it's being used. So click OK. We need to figure out how to make use of that live tool field in our post. So if you've seen some of our previous videos on modifying post processors, we're going to make use of the dump file. So click on our op, go to post, from setup, choose use installed post library, and then we're going to scroll down to the dumper or dump file. Click post, and I'm going to start to search for that just the word live. So tool live, that doesn't tell me anything. There we go. Tool.liveTool equals false. I like to copy and paste because it's case sensitive, and you can see the L is lowercase, the T is upper. We'll throw that in Notepad for now. Close this. Now, in our Tormach post, you can use these brackets in Notepad++ to understand where statements start and end. So I've put the cursor before this tool spindle RPM, and you can see it highlights the cursor right here. But this is an if-else, so I also need to look at where the else starts, and it stops all the way down here. So this is, for all intents and purposes, this is sort of one condition. So I'm just going to put it above it. Add some space. I'll copy this. Now, we got to use this. I'll put that in. And the one change we've got to make is instead of equals false, we need to do a test of if it's true. So we're going to say if tool.liveTool is set to false, and that's using the double equal sign there. Someone can probably explain that better in the comments below. And then what's great is we can just reuse this block of code right here. I'm going to paste it. I'm just going to change the comment to be something unique. Tool is not a live tool, just so I know that this was the code that actually got actuated. And I need to make sure to end this statement, so I'll close it off the line below. Let's test. Post process, I've got to pick use personal post library. That will let me pull it from this local post file I've got. Click post. And what I'm looking for is mark comment. There we go. Spindle is off. Tool is not a live tool. Interesting, it didn't pull through the semicolon. I guess you can't use those in comments, huh? That may mean it's bad etiquette to do, because get rid of it then. Now I want to change one more thing. I want to have a better warning system if the code that I just posted exceeds the maximum RPM of my machine. This happens to us here, and it's an accident, but it happens. We've got machines with 5,000, with 10,000, with 12,000, with 15,000 RPMs, and I would rather be inconvenienced with one question when I post the code than I would to break a tool or possibly make a bad part or just run the wrong fees and speeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, instead of this warning, which really doesn't do anything and often we would miss it, I'm going to say if the spindle RPM is greater than 5,100, instead of this warning localize, I'm going to comment that out. How do we comment? Actually, line 614. There we go. We comment with, just 2 forward slashes. And instead, let's write the M code for an M0. So it's an M format. But let's search, because I want to see if I can find an example. Okay, yep. That would be an M6, so I can literally write, actually just copy paste this, but use a 0 instead of a 6. Zero, and I'm going to put in a comment here, JWS added this line 2018.04.27. Let's see if it works. Created a new RPM test. I've got a tool running at 10,000 RPMs. Let's post this code. No. Okay. Missing a semicolon. Line 615 does not latch line 613. Probably just a typo on my part. Okay, so do we have too many? Don't know if we need that extra 0. I grabbed that from up here. Ah, interesting. So I copied and pasted it, but that was, I think I've got to do right block. That's what I've got to do. Open paren, and then that would allow me to do the end paren. Just a beginner mistake. Perfect. 10,000 RPMs. It's giving me an M0. Let's add a comment, though, because it would be helpful to explain that. I searched for comment to find the right comment, and what we'll say here is parentheses, quote, is this machine able to run required RPM? Semicolon. Save that. Let's go see what it looks like at the machine. Adding something like this is very much a personal decision about what your workflow is or what your shop's workflow is, but this is one of the many awesome things about being able to modify posts, make them fit for your shop, increase your process reliability, avoid having stuff in your head, and make sure it's documented and make sure it's part of your process. So the point today was twofold. One, to show a couple of, I think, value-added improvements to the post, but also really trying to inspire you guys and teach you the tools on how to go through and start picking away, even if you've never done this before, even if you're not a programmer. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. See you next Friday.